My career sucks.
Sex just isn't the same.
What's my purpose?
Where did this fat come from?
My relationship is killing me.
I'll never be happy.
My debt is piling up. I'll never find love. Why can't I be like other gay guys? Hey guys, it's time to get a grip, stop whining, make a bold move, and do something amazing with your 40-plus gay life. Let's get to the show with your Tell It Like It Is host, Rick Clemons, who does his best to never act like a dick or a diva unless you act like one first.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 40 Plus Gay Men Gay Talk. And I think you're in for a treat today because, well, before we do that, don't forget to join our monthly men's group. It happens every Tuesday, third Tuesday, not every Tuesday. Oh, God forbid. I just said every Tuesday. No, I can only do it once a month. But I think this is going to be an interesting conversation because we are going to look through the lens of gay life, through the lens of a camera, of a online series that some of you may know as soon as I introduce it. But the reason we're going here is because how we see ourselves as gay men as we age, all the things that we think, oh, once I get to a certain age, all this is going to be figured out. Well, you're in for a really big disappointment if that's the way you think about your future gay life, because it ain't going to work out near what you think it is. Pieces of it are, but some parts aren't. So why this show? Well, this is actually the show called The Disappointments. I'm so lucky to have the creator, the star of the show. His name is Rich Burns. He's got a history in much of what you're going to see in the show. He's been doing writing and stuff for Disney, all that good stuff. And now he's acting in his own production and bringing it to life. We're going to be talking about season 2. That's actually already in motion, guys. When this airs, you're going to be able to have already seen episode 1, and then you can go in and start watching the rest of the episodes. So I want to give time to this handsome hunk who's on camera with me, if you're watching the YouTube, and going to be on voice here very soon. Rich Burns, I am so excited to have this conversation with you. Gay man to gay man, older gay man to older gay man, because your show is just about that. So thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, I haven't had you, but we'll talk about that off the show. Okay. See, even when you're older, you can still flirt, guys. Come on, let's admit it. Let's do it. So, I hate to even ask this question because I can just feel it watching the episodes that I've got to see, Rich. There had to be a calling, like, I've got to start filming this. I got to create something that is like, here's the experience. Here's the experience. So, why were you drawn to this?
Well, it was a couple things. One was I was very much aware of what was going on in my community of friends as we were getting older.
I'm not getting older. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm not getting older.
I'll keep it me. As I was getting older, a lot of my friends, we had this dinner one time where we were sitting around talking about there had been, over the course of maybe a year and a half, several suicides in our extended friend group. And it seemed that a lot of this was coming out of literally disappointments in their lives, like, losing their business that they built up or their career never having taken off the way they wanted it to. And then we talked about, too, how there are some people who realized that their career wasn't, let's say acting, wasn't going to take off eventually. So they became therapists or real estate agents. Mm-hmm. And it became a conversation about, like, what makes some people stay the course, what makes some people recognize what's coming up and making a change, and then what makes some people just give up. And that, coupled with a couple of professional disappointments that I personally was having, made me want to sit down. You know what? I need to do my own show. Like, so many things that I've worked on, that I've written, that have been produced, have not come out the way I'd hoped they would. Like, I don't want to share these things with my friends saying, hey, you have to watch this, because I don't think it's representative of what I wrote. So it was a combination of wanting to see my generation reflected in some sort of comedic entertainment, because I don't see gray-haired people, gay guys.
Right.
I see media, gay representation tends to focus on the young and sexy. Yep. And this is not to say that we're not sexy. Right. But that's the meat of it. And so I wanted to do a show that reflected our experiences, but also I wanted to have control and ultimately have, if it was going to fail, I made it fail, not notes and changes and all of these things that are coming from outside sources into the
Right.
material.
I think one of the most compelling, and I don't want to give away it all, but I mean, one of the most compelling scenes that I love is in season 2 is the walking into the new role you have. And I'm going to just kind of leave it there. And
Well,
I'm not going to
you
say
could
much because that could be what happens in that scene. My husband and I went away from there like, okay, I want to support our community, but man, I could not do that. I could not deal with the eyebrow raises and everything about not
right.
being politically correct. But this is real. This is real life. And then add to it where we fit in as, older gay men, mature gay men. I'm not going to call us elders yet. Some are going to call us elders. And that's cool. I'm totally cool with that. I'm like, well, if you're going to call me an elder, you can't call me daddy. But if you're going to call me an elder, you're going to listen to the shit I have to say then, because I have something to tell you younger guys. So
Yeah,
it's just the way I am.
That's actually in the trailer. So I don't really feel it's a spoiler, the scene you're
Okay.
talking about. And one of the feelings I got, this is born out of a job I had. It's not a complete direct representation of it, but it was
Right.
inspired. And even in the moments in this job where I was feeling uncomfortable because I was far older than everybody else in the room, and there were things that were happening that were like insulting and sort of humiliating.
Yep.
I was like, there's a part of me that was back here going, oh, I can use this. This is going to be great
Mm-hmm.
for something
Yep.
someday. But there is a sense, I feel sometimes, that there is a lack of understanding or lack of just knowledge of what our generation has done for LGBTQ
Yep.
causes. And
Yep.
there's the sense I get is that my experience with these particular people were that they were the first.
Yep.
Like nobody did anything before them. And I kind of want to just like sit people down and say, hey, there's a whole generation before you and before us that made
Exactly.
an impact. And you should you should do a little research before you open your mouth and talk about how our generation didn't do anything or ruined it for you.
Right. Yep. It is a very interesting conversation. And one of my favorite conversations, it wasn't on a podcast. It was with a client. Okay. A client. When I first started coaching back in 2000, 2009, probably 2009, 2010, 72-year-old guy found me somehow, some way. And his wife had passed, and that was the impetus to like, I want to go be who I am. The plot twist, because there's always plot twists in life, was once we did a session, he goes, so yes, I'm gay, but I live on my farm. And I said, oh, really? Where's your farm? Well, here's the irony, Rich. His farm was just down the Colorado River from where I grew up as a kid. It was like 40 miles south of where my grandfather's farm was. I'm like, oh, this is, the vibes, right? There's like, okay, wait, there's something happening here. He goes, I love living on my farm and I love my wife, but he goes, now I'm totally free to be me. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I said, so you having some guys over? He goes, oh, well, not yet. I'm hoping. I'm like, okay, well, what do you mean by that? He goes, because I get to put my beautiful little lingerie on and my dresses on and be who I feel like I've always been.
Wow.
And it was kind of like, whoa, this is and he's like, and I remember one of as we were finishing up coaching and he was starting to like invite guys out because he lived out in the way far from town and everything. And I remember he came on a coaching call and he goes, I'm really excited. I'm like, cool, why? And he goes, because I'm going to get some dick. And it was so cute because it's like he's 72 years old and he actually said it like that. But I think this is the beauty of what we get to represent, even in, yes, your whole show is based in LA, but the commonalities of the characters, the experiences, the having to rebirth into new jobs, having to suddenly go, oh, is there a possibility I'm going to get to be this thing, on TV? And then your own experience of dealing with, oh, wow, intergenerational LGBTQ stuff. So what's been the most challenging for you, man, as you've brought this to life? And I know we're season 2, right? We're into season 2 of
season 2. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Right. The season one was re-released as a director's cut, where we took the 11 short YouTube episodes and put them back together to be 5 full length. So they match the same
Cool.
running time as season 2. Um, that's out now. The most challenging, well, I mean, putting it together was a challenge. I mean that in terms of putting the production together,
Yeah.
when like raising the money
Yeah.
was a full-time job. And
Yeah.
that was through like social media, it was crowdsource
Yeah.
funding. Um, in the end, it's so funny, like the channel has had 8 million visitors.
Yep.
The first season has over 4 million views. Um, for season 2, 635 people contributed. Now,
Wow.
that with a couple of other things that came in, it came to a total in the end of about $125,000 raised.
Mm.
So it
Significant.
was good. Well, it's good to raise that much money. It's very little money when
Right.
you're talking about
Exactly.
producing a TV show.
Absolutely.
The crew got paid pennies, and the actors deferred their salaries completely.
Mm.
And it took a lot of creative stuff around permits and all of that stuff. As you see, like we shoot
Yep.
out in West
Yep.
Hollywood on Santa
Yep.
Monica
Yep.
Boulevard. That that's
That's
expensive.
not easy to do.
Um,
Yep.
no, and they had rules like we couldn't put the camera on the sidewalk. Like
Mm.
the crew had to be on the
I,
business side property of
yeah.
where we shot this thing. That's not to say that we didn't cheat,
Well, I noticed that
but
a little bit. Those of us who
but
know,
I'm
those of us who know. Um,
yeah.
but that's interesting.
Um,
So I'm curious, those kind of challenges I was anticipating. What now? I'm going to flip
mhm,
the question a little bit different direction.
sure.
You knew this came out of your heart. This came out of that experience of sitting around the table, suicides, losing jobs, relationships, all that sort of stuff. Not only as a professional producer and actor and everything, but I'm curious, what have you found you've grown from kind of reliving, telling these stories in a way? What has happened for you personally in that space?
I think part of it is because I treat it with humor, that it
Mm,
has allowed me to sort of let go of any kind of negative emotions I might have had around it that I was holding on to. Um, there was resentment about being treated the way I was treated by the younger writers on the jobs.
right.
It's like who are you to like be so dickish?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think just by virtue of like working that through and having that experience as a joke on camera, um,
Mm-hmm.
and where it goes, which you haven't seen yet, that was cathartic.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and you come from a space where, I mean, yeah, this isn't your first rodeo doing any of this. I mean, you've been with Disney and other places doing stuff, and it's interesting to watch ourselves in this moment, and that's kind of what I'm
mhm,
going to be honest, Rich. What I was picking up as once I knew it was you I was interviewing, I'm like, okay, I really want to focus on like, okay, not just your character, but like seeing you. And there are moments in what I see you on camera that I'm like, I can really feel there's reality happening here. This is a reflection of him in the mirror in different things, right? And I think that's what's
yeah.
valuable. I think that's what's
Well, and
so fascinating.
I think when I first started the show, I had no intention of playing the character of Ray. I was trying
Mm-hmm.
to cast someone else because I had no intention of. I feel that I'm not an actor because it
Mm-hmm.
was never a goal. I don't ever want to go out for parts. I mean, if somebody were to come to me and say, "Hey, would you do this part?" I would definitely consider it.
Sure.
Um, but I think what made the acting easier is because these are actually experiences that
Mm-hmm.
maybe not exactly the same, but I've been in that basic situation and have had those emotions, so I
Mm-hmm.
can just sort of remember it and try to portray it. And plus, I'm surrounded by such great actors, and there's a lot of support. So it
So
worked.
I'm just curious because I have a perspective, but
Hmm.
how how do you feel the series actually reflects? Let's start right where you are. Gay life in LA, West Hollywood area.
Um,
I know that's a
well, I
little bit of a
think
loaded question, but
no, it's so I don't know if this is quite the answer, but it reflects a life that I don't think gets portrayed really, which is so much
Mhm.
of our the depictions of gay life. Give an example of a show. It was called was it called Uncoupled? It was Neil Patrick Harris. It was on Netflix.
Oh yes, I
And
remember
he
that. Yep, yep.
Okay. And so to me, there's so much depiction of gay men being wealthy that it's
Hmm.
never a consideration about like, how are they going to come up with their retirement? Like, how
Right.
are they going to survive this? And yet I know half of my friends are in that boat. Half of my friends are they're set. They're going to be okay. So I think that in terms of like the depiction, I think it's an accurate representation.
Yep.
Which you said West Hollywood. I just think in Los Angeles in general, there are a lot of
Hmm.
people who worked in careers that were around the entertainment
Hmm.
business, and those can be super lucrative if you manage to hit it.
Yep.
But if you don't, you wind up kind of scrambling
Yep.
and
Yep.
a little bit desperate. Like, how are you
Mhm.
going to put your life together so you can retire
Yep.
when you've not made that much money through your
Hmm.
adult life?
Yep. I see it all the time,
Um,
Rich. All the time. I mean, a lot of the clients that I work with, let me just put it two ways. A lot of the clients I work with, they obviously have to have some disposable income to have a coach and be paying me. But a lot of them that come, they don't have the money and they're like, but this is the thing I need the most help with. And I'm not a complete diva bitch and like buy if you don't have the money. But if there is a level of I have a level of income I need to maintain too. And I
sure.
feel, there's scholarships I give occasionally to guys and go, okay, like, hey, I'm going to reduce this. But what I think is like some common threads I started picking up, because at first I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's actually representing gay life. And then there were things that started very quickly as I was watching that very first episode that I was given to watch. I'm like, oh my gosh, the whole breakup thing. And I don't want to get into all, but there's like these things that I'm like, wait, you could be a guy sitting in the middle of Kentucky. God bless you if you are, but a gay guy sitting in the middle of Kentucky, and you're like, I don't know how to navigate a relationship. I don't know how to deal with what if my job just got, the carpet just got pulled out. These are all things that we as humans, but especially as gay men, I think it hits us in some interesting spaces, especially at 50, 60, late 40s. There's almost this reckoning that it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know what to do next, you know?
right.
And
There's
then
no roadmap.
there is no roadmap. No, because so much of our life, there was no roadmap. Nobody taught us
Right.
how to come out. It just, I mean, I guess, well, okay. If you young ones would listen to us old guys, we can kind of give you the map on that. But there's no
But
perfect
first,
map
get off our
there.
lawn.
Yeah, get off our lawn first. Yes. Yes. At least buy me a drink if you're going to ask for advice. Okay. Um, but I think it is an interesting thing when you start to see the parallels, because my husband and I were talking about this after we watched the second episode. And I said, it's so interesting to see if you really look at the subtext of the characters and go, I mean, there's some pieces that I was like, oh yeah, that's me. That's me right there. I'm feeling this, right? Yeah.
I'm curious what that was. Like, what could you point to?
Well, it's similar but different. So
Okay.
my other side of life, and most listeners know this, I coach
Hmm.
speakers building their professional speaking business. And I have a significant amount of my team all of them are younger than me. Okay. But they also a majority of them happen to be super Christian. And so that discomfort of being in this space where you don't get me, when
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now I'm very much quote unquote gotten. I kind of like, I'm going to be me. I'm not going to hide any of this. But it's interesting to be in those kind of environments where you're like, I don't really know how I fit, you know, and to
Right.
navigate through that. I mean, when I was first in this environment, Rich, I was like, oof, Now I'm on the flip side of I'm not going to be in that job much longer. And so now I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm very blessed because I've got a great coaching practice. So I'm just going to like, fine, I'm just going to pump up the volume on getting coaching clients again. But there's some reckonings. I love that you brought that word up because that's actually something I'm developing. It's something called The Reckoning. And it's a group program I'm developing to help guys that are in those moments. We're not going to go deep. We're going to go group stuff. We're going to go on one thing that you're really like coming to terms with. Low cost investment to come and do this thing. 2 sessions in a group of 6 people. We knock it out, move you forward. I think so many gay men, you young guys too. I know we actually do get some young guys listen to this, Rich. I think they just want to listen to daddies talk about shit, but I'll give it to them. I don't think a lot of gay men plan for the reckonings that they're about to go through as they age.
Absolutely.
Health, sex, penis doesn't work, career stuff that happens. Suddenly you're like, oh, I thought I had lots of money going away. And then you're like, this isn't going to be near enough. Now what the fuck do I do? All of these are those reckoning moments. Or you at a later stage in life, you're flipping. I'm in a really weird space. I'm 62 and I'm like, do I go look for something else now if I'm not going to be in this? Are they going to want to hire me? I'm an older guy. Why would they want? I mean, you see all that stuff that's going on in my own head. And I think this is what you're showcasing is all these dimensions, right? I mean, we could go deep into the relationship thing, but that's one of the key elements. I don't want to spoil the whole relationship thing because I love the scene. Just going to say, knock, knock on the car window. I was laughing my ass off. So, and I was sitting there going, I never did what I'm talking about. Because again, I'm not going to give away the scene, but I'm like, yeah, I was that desperate guy at one point in time, especially right after I came out. Because I came out late in life, Rich. I don't know if you knew that. I didn't come out till I was 36. So every guy that came along was Prince Charming. And every breakup was the worst thing in my freaking life. Like, oh. Actually, one of those things happened in Laguna Beach at Woody's, if you know that. I think you might have
I remember Woody's.
Yes. Yeah. I actually remember taking one of my exes to the Revolver. Was it Revolver in West Hollywood?
Uh-huh.
I think, okay. Yep. And we had broke up and we were like, okay, but we can be friends. So we tried to do the friend thing one night and we got to Revolver and I'm a social butterfly. Surprise, surprise that I do a podcast. Oh my God. It was one of the biggest scenes we ever went through. I'm like, so glad we're not together anymore because he got super jealous. I'm like, we're not together. So if I'm taking my shirt off and rubbing my furry bare chest against some guy, sorry, I'm a free man now, so all those dynamics.
Yeah.
So that was all that was playing in some scene that's in the show, guys. I'm not going to give you all the detail, but
well,
right there.
That's actually there's a little clip of that also in the trailer.
Yeah, there's a little bit of it.
But I will say, because we're talking a little bit about how this reflects on my own life, I never did that. That was something that I was, working with the character, what the character wants, and his discomfort with the situation between Ray and Dwight, and the fact that they're broken up, and it's kind of. I feel like what he's doing and what he does in the second episode, it's not fully premeditated. It's in the moment he does these things.
In the moment. Yep.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful aspect of, I'm going to coin the phrase, where art imitates life and life imitates art. That whole scene or that sequence of scenes on that subject matter, I would be hard pressed to believe there isn't a gay man who hasn't had some form of those feelings.
Yeah.
Every one of us has. Every one of us has. Because we're such a rejection phobic group. Like, don't reject me. Please don't reject me. So, but it's really cool. I love what you're bringing into this. So as you think through it, again, we're going to go back to that little table conversation around all that stuff with your friends. I bet just in circles of friends, which is always a tricky one because it's like, oh, you're witnessing things. So do I put this into something? Or in the greater quote gay world, you witness something. It's got to be interesting to be the writer, producer, all this stuff and going, oh, here's an idea. How do you finally distill it down, Rich, to like, okay, this is just what's going to happen now. Do you put some things aside going, okay, I can see that now in season 3, season 36, when I'm 82, whatever. How are you making those decisions, bud?
Part of it is it's all so spontaneous. Like I just have so many stories, my own personal stories, my friends' stories. People actually want to share things with me that happened to them to see if I want to put it in the show.
Uh-huh.
And like, you know, the second season was written really fast. Um, and I just feel like there wasn't a lot. I don't even know how to describe it. It just all came to me. So there wasn't a lot of premeditation on what I was going to use. And it just like I have this whole collection of things that have
Uh-huh.
happened in my life, things that my friends have gone through that, and they all tend to have this the commonality is that there's a embarrassment
Mm.
baked into it. There's it's an embarrassing
Right.
moment because those are my favorite things to put the characters
Mhm.
through. um, so in the creating of the story, they just kind of the right ones just came in. Like the
Mhm.
so I can't I wish I could say it was very calculated, but I
Right.
think um, sometimes when you're just sort of in a groove, the writing kind of just comes and even though I'm the guy writing it, sometimes I think I don't know if this sounds like, too woo woo, whatever, but it's coming from somewhere else.
Mhm.
And like ideas, creativity, it just feels like it's coming from someplace else. It's filtered through my experiences and these stories, but they
Mhm.
all just come together in a really
Yeah.
organic way.
I
So,
agree. I mean, a lot of times this whole podcast isn't driven by, oh, let's go find this person or that person. I mean, even us having this conversation today, you would have never been on my radar unless, had your PR person not reached out to me. And I'm like, okay, I can see this could be really interesting because guess what? Gay men, disappointments, it's just a part of the fabric. I mean, I know it's for all humans, but there's something about for gay men, it's just a
right,
fabric of our world, right? We live in that energy of everything's, kind of a disappointment because from the time we were hiding who we were a disappointment. We were a
right.
disappointment to parents, to family, to whatever you want to call it, to friends, until we overcome that. And I think so I'm going to go real life coachy here. I'm like really super analyzing what I've seen so far. What I like about watching what's going on the series is there's a subtle invitation for the listener, the viewer, okay, to take in, like I have already shared some of it, to take in, okay, this does reflect, yeah, I may not live in West Hollywood, I may not live in Los Angeles, but what piece of this is a reflection of me and what I'm going through? How can I find humor in this? How can I realize I'm going to be okay beyond this? How can I see what's happening and go, oh, okay, I never would have thought of navigating around it this way? That to me is something that I always find powerful in art, but I'm really enjoying that this is the pieces that I'm going, guys, I don't care if you live in the middle of bumfuck Oklahoma or wherever. Your life is happening in similar ways. You just got to understand that, oh gosh, Rich actually gets us because we're
Mm,
all gay men at a certain age going through this stuff. That's what
right.
I'm loving about it, Rich.
Well, that's very cool. Thank you. I
Yeah.
think one of the other things, and not to because I know the podcast, it's in the title, but I will say that I was pleasantly and have been pleasantly surprised when I hear from straight people, straight women, this the themes of this show, the disappointments that happen within the show actually resonates outside of our community very strongly. Like
Yep.
we get a lot of on the for the first season on our YouTube page, the comments like or I get messages directly from women. It's like, I'm a straight woman who's 65 years old and somebody said to watch this show and I can't believe I'm not a gay man, but I can't believe how much of this is like resonating with me. Resonating. That's
Yeah.
the word. I
That's
think
it.
the themes resonate.
Yep.
They're kind of universal.
They're
And
very
we just happen to be
universal.
gay.
Right. And I think for me, this is one of the things that I wish, well, I'm going to just say, because whoever's listening to this, I think this is one of my wishes for you. Never underestimate. If a girlfriend of mine hadn't already written a book called Never Underestimate the Power of Teenage Girls, I probably would write the book Never Underestimate the Power of Gay Men. Because there's something about us. I'm not saying lesbians don't have this, that's a whole different thing. But I think there's something we as gay men oftentimes don't realize. If we can navigate through coming out. And we navigate past that and find our way to live in that space and live it like we mean it. There's nothing that we can really be thrown that we can't navigate around, except we create the drama around it a lot of times and go, oh, I can't get past this breakup. Oh, I can't imagine being in an open relationship and now my partner wants it. I can't imagine what it's going to be like if I lost my fabulous career and don't. We find our way through, but if we tap into the power of what we did in coming out, even if it was a shitty coming out experience, that shitty coming out experience was what got you to where you could integrate into your world and be truly who you are. And I wish more of us as gay men would embrace that concept. So,
right.
All right, my friend, I'm going to ask one last question. What are you most proud of about this entire endeavor that you put together?
The fact, I mean, there's so many. If you want me to give you one, which is hard to do.
Well, give me a few.
Okay.
I won't limit you.
I think I'm really proud with, I said the word already, resonate. The fact that I didn't even give this any thought. The first season, I wanted to do a show. I did the show. I didn't think about what the reaction was going to be. And the reaction has actually been, I hear from people all around the world. Like there's a global, not to say that like billions of people have seen the show, but it has found an audience in almost every country in the world through YouTube. But I get messages from people like from the Middle East saying how they're so glad that I made this show, that where they live, if they came out as being gay, they would be murdered. But that gives them hope to see just gay men living their lives openly, having their friendship being, at the core of everything.
Yep.
And that was unexpected and very cool, very touching. Awesome. I'm also, proud, I guess. There are moments, it happened a couple times, first season and the second season, where in the hecticness of shooting, and we had to shoot really fast because we didn't have a lot of money. We had to get in and out. But I would make myself like take a moment and stand in the middle of the chaos of crew running around and wardrobe people and everybody doing what they're doing. And just, I'm very proud of the fact that I sat down by myself in a room, wrote these scripts, and that it has become this sort of living thing where people are like coming together just for the love of the material to make it. And I'm really proud of the fact that the first season I won the Humanitas Prize, which is really cool. First web series ever to win one.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I said I was going to ask one last question, but
okay.
What do you want Rich's legacy to be?
Oh, I'll answer that question, but I have to say that I never think about that. I would love, I think, this show to be part of it, and that being that I helped ease people's internal burdens, that they came to see things maybe a little bit differently, and it lightens their load somehow, and both in terms of no longer feeling alone, like feeling seen, and also finding humor in their struggles and being able to laugh at it. And,
I'll never forget the first time I was asked that question. And it was right after I had just launched my first podcast. It was a radio internet show. And then because I was doing that, I was getting asked to be on other shows. And I remember when I was asked that question by the host, and the words that came out of my mouth surprised me, and then it didn't surprise me. I said, if I can contribute to the term coming out never having to be used ever again, I will be very happy to have lived on this planet.
That's
what you just said is very true. As soon as you said easing the burden, I felt the chills, because I'm like, ooh, Rich and I are very much aligned in similar spaces around this. And guys listening, it doesn't mean you have to go create some, fun, engaging and very much in your face sort of, show on YouTube that gets millions of views. It doesn't mean you have to have a podcast. I think what's beautiful is what Rich has shared is we get to be who we are. And again, I don't care if you're living in West Hollywood, in California, Oregon, Oklahoma, Ohio, wherever it is. We all face disappointments. It's how we choose to navigate the plot twists of those disappointments and start truly living like we mean it. That is what makes us these beautiful gay men that we are at 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever we live to. Yes, you young ones too that are under 40. Okay, same thing, but listen to your elders, okay? Please give right. Some elders some room here to help you navigate. But
and recognize that you're going to be an elder too. That's the thing. Exactly. Is I feel like the younger generation doesn't. Yeah. They don't see where they're going.
And we are where they're going. There's beauty. I mean, people have said, "Don't what was it like when you first started losing your hair?" I said, "I can't even tell you because I don't remember. I love being bald. I love it." My husband's like you. He's salt and pepper, gray-haired guy. It makes him really handsome and attractive in my book. I don't remember when that happened. I think he was kind of already there. Then he married me, and that caused the rest of it to happen. But, it's such a beautiful thing. But yes, recognizing us and inviting us to be part of the conversation. And I'm not saying I'm on my grandstand about this, but without guys that had gone before me, it's so funny, Rich, back to Laguna Beach real quick before we wrap up. I remember standing in a bar with my best friend, and this was right after I came out in Woody's. And he was introducing me to guys, and all of a sudden it's like every guy he was introducing me to was a guy who'd been married to a woman and had kids. And I was like, I thought I owned the market on I thought I was the only one. What I love about the disappointments is you're bringing the unity of messaging of everybody's going through career stuff. Everybody's going through, relationship stuff. Everybody's trying to figure themselves out. Everybody's wondering if they got enough. It's all happening in different ways. And that's what I love about what you put out there, Rich. And I love that you gave us time today to connect and have your voice heard. Guys, please go watch the series. Give it thumbs up. Contribute the next time he needs to raise some funds. I find it to be, and I'm not surprised that you won that award because I'm always a little edgy about gay stuff. It's like, it's either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. Okay. I find you have put this together in a really interesting way that I think anybody can relate to. And for that, I so appreciate you, bud. And thank you for being part of my podcast and helping us reach guys. And guys, go out there, keep being who you are. Stop negotiating your life. Start living it like you mean it. No fears, no excuses, and no apologies. And yes, I will be back in just another week to haunt you with another podcast. But thank you for being listeners. And again, thank you, Rich, for being here. Everybody go out.
My pleasure.
Have an amazing week and go be who you're meant to be in the world. Take care, guys.
That's a wrap for 40 Plus. Gay men, gay talk, where size doesn't matter. We drop our bullshit, get over our screwed up fears, make bold moves, and live life without apologies. Don't forget to join us on Facebook at 40 Plus, Gay Men, Gay Talk, where the conversations continue.